It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Kruse.
Welcome to the show. For all you dads out there, I hope you had a great Father's Day. I know I did. I got to spend it bass fishing with my best friend, Rusty Johnston. And while we didn't catch a ton of bass, Rusty did get one nice one, and we just had a great day on the water. Got to see a lot of wildlife, waterfowl and raptors and wading birds. And when we got back to the house with the boat, Rusty's wife, Lisa, cooked us a delicious dinner. Steak and Dungeness crab and garlic bread. My, oh my, it doesn't get any better than that. Lisa, thank you again. That was delicious. This week on the show, we've got some great guests for you. At the end of the show today, you're going to hear from Bob Foege. He is with the Robert Lewis Company, and they have something that's going to make you a better shooter. It's the Ultimate Practice Shooting System. It's a device that you can set up in your home. It uses lasers to help you become better with a shotgun, mounting and swinging and following through so you can get better when it comes to busting some clays or maybe downing some quail or pheasant or ducks. Another guest we'll have on the show today is Todd Sensenbrenner. He's with the BoatUS Foundation. We're going to be going over the latest statistics released by the U.S. Coast Guard when it comes to boater safety. How are we doing? Are fatalities and accidents going up, or are they going down? And what is the cause of most of the accidents out there on the water? Ted's going to break it all down for us. Our other guest, that would be none other than Josh Warren, the man with Work Sharp. They have got something brand new that is hitting the shelves right now. It's the Ken Onion Edition Knife and Tool Sharpener Mark II, and it's going to take your knife and tool sharpening to a whole new level. I've never seen anything like this before, and I think if you are serious about sharpening your cutlery and your tools, you are definitely going to want to hear about this and then go out and buy one. I'll give you a hint. You can take a look at it at worksharptools.com. Again, it's the Ken Onion Edition Knife and Tool Sharpener. This portion of the show is brought to you by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. And if you are looking for a classic lever action rifle, look no further than the lineup of rifles available at Henry Repeating Arms. They're all made right here in the USA. They come with a lifetime satisfaction guarantee. They're very reliable and they're accurate right out of the box, and they are really good looking too. So if you're looking for a good-looking, good-shooting rifle, check out henryusa.com. That's the website to go to, henryusa.com, and ask for your free catalog and decals today. In other news, I'm sure you've heard the phrase of people of Walmart, where you see all sorts of unique things at your local Walmart store to include often inappropriately dressed people, let's put it that way. Well, when it comes to wildlife, it's people of Yellowstone, and here's one. Yellowstone Park employee had a customer feedback form from a visitor, and this is just a beaut. From the cool down, we can report that one visitor said, "Please train your bears to be where guests can see them. This was an expensive trip to not to get to see bears." Oh my gosh. Apparently, the visitor thought they were visiting a circus or something where the bears are trained and not a national park where the bears are actually wild and generally aren't seen by too many people. And then there's a person I was going to feature on the Trail of Shame, but he was off trail, so I guess we're not going to do that. Also at Yellowstone, a 21-year-old Linwood man is in legal consequences for his action near Steamboat Geyser in the park. Victor Pushnick's desire for the perfect photo led him off the designated boardwalk and into restricted terrain off trail, into an area that's very dangerous. According to MyNorthwest.com and the Bozeman Daily Chronicle, this incident unfolded on April 19th. When a park employee saw Pushnick venturing off the boardwalk, he got a photo of Pushnick, who had crossed over a fence and approached within 20 feet of Steamboat Geyser's steam vent. When confronted by a ranger, Pushnick admitted he left the boardwalk because he wanted to get some photos. As for the danger involved, this area has mud pots and scalding steam and unpredictable water, and despite the clear signage, Pushnick had willfully discarded the rules, endangering both himself and the fragile ecosystem. He was sentenced on June 4th in U.S. District Court in Wyoming, and the judge threw the book at him, giving him a 7-day jail sentence for thermal trespass and a 2-year ban from the park, along with a fine of $1,550. That's one expensive photo there, Victor. Yellowstone National Park. I love that place, but some of the visitors, not so much. Turning to the world of tournament bass fishing, Unified Pros is announcing the Ultimate Angler World Championship. It's going to take place October 5th through the 11th at Lake Gunnersville in Scottsboro, Alabama, and there's going to be a big payout for the winner. Unified Pros is a nonprofit with no ownership, and it's hoping to be the biggest news in tournament bass fishing since the early days of Ray Scott, Roland Martin, Bill Dance, and Jimmy Houston. The new organization, Unified Pros in the state of Alabama, is going to launch their first tournament, the Ultimate Angler Championship, again, October 5th through the 11th on Lake Gunnersville near Scottsboro, Alabama, with a guaranteed first place payout. Get this, $500,000. It's the largest pot in bass fishing's history, and the tournament's going to offer a total of over $1 million in cash payouts. The vision of Unified Pros is to inspire and unify a global community of professional athletes from all different leagues to champion the power of the outdoors and elevate sport fishing, the outdoors, and conservation. There's no sponsors for this tournament series. No, it's all the money is being funded by the state of Alabama, Jackson County, and the city of Scottsboro. And sticking with the old school format, there's going to be a 5-fish limit and no forward-facing sonar. That's right. You're going to have to just use your skill. You can't rely on technology to help you win this one. Unified Pros is an alliance of professional athletes that through sanctioned competitions and charity events and membership aims to elevate the love for outdoor competition while raising awareness for fisheries, habitat, and their continued conservation. They'll be partnering with organizations such as Major League Fishing, Bassmaster Professional Anglers and National Professional Fishing League, NFL professional players, Major League Baseball players, the NBA, and the PGA, the Professional Golfers Association. Like I said, going to be a lot of athletes competing in this one. Registration for this event opens up on July 1st. If you want to find out more, go to ultimateangler.org. That's the website to go to, ultimateangler.org. It's going to be fun watching the pros from various different fields compete in the World Tournament Bass Fishing. Heading to Idaho, one lucky lady has one stud of a boyfriend. On the night of June 6th, the man and the woman were out in front of their home when a yearling male grizzly charged at the woman. The boyfriend shot and killed the animal near their home, which is actually in Last Chance. The Idaho Department of Fish and Game responded to the scene, and after a thorough investigation, it was determined that the homeowner acted in defense of life. Like I said, lucky lady there. If you're looking for work in the state of Texas, I've got a job opportunity for you. The National Wild Turkey Federation is looking for a regional director in Texas. The position's responsible for volunteer recruitment and communications, organizing and servicing all of the various NWTF committees and fundraising events within the assigned region. You do need to have a bachelor's degree in marketing or sales, or if you don't have the degree, equivalent experience, and you need to have at least 2 to 5 years service with the National Wild Turkey Federation. The good news is this position can work remotely. You don't have to go to an office, but you will be on the road going to a whole bunch of fundraising events. You can find out more at nwtf.org. Just look for the Job Opportunities tab at the bottom of the website. Finally, a couple of state fish and game agencies are hoping for a little help from volunteers. One of them is the Pennsylvania Game Commission. They're banding together with Hawk Mountain Sanctuary, and they're conducting the third Pennsylvania Bird Atlas in state history. Between now and February, they want to document what birds live in Pennsylvania, where, and in what numbers. Meanwhile, the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department is asking for volunteers to help in rounding up and placing identification bands on the legs of Canada geese at its Dead Creek Wildlife Management Area off of Route 17 in Addison starting at 8 a.m. on Wednesday, July 3rd. You can contact the Pennsylvania Game Commission or Vermont Fish and Wildlife for further details about these volunteer opportunities. Stick around, we've got some great guests coming up right after this short message from our sponsors on America Outdoors Radio.
For over 20 years, the Hunt of a Lifetime Foundation has been providing all expense-paid hunting expeditions to youth suffering from life-threatening illnesses or disabilities all over North America. We've taken hundreds of kids for some epic adventures, but we need your help to pay for the expenses for these trips. You can help by donating to our nonprofit organization. Just go to huntofalifetime.org and click on the donation tab. Any donations help. The website again, huntofalifetime.org. Donate today.
Ready to step up to a quality-built rifle or shotgun that's a true classic? Check out Henry Repeating Arms. American-made. There's over 150 models to choose from in a variety of finishes and calibers for hunters and target shooters. Many of these are lever-action models with a classic look right out of the Old West. Don't be deceived, though. Henry Repeating Arms are modern, rugged, reliable, and have a lifetime guarantee. Find out more and order a free catalog today at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
When you think of WorkSharp knife and tool sharpeners, you probably think of sharpeners for the shop or the field, but WorkSharp has a whole lineup of sharpeners for the kitchen, too. We're talking about everything from easy-to-use manual and electric knife sharpeners to ceramic honing rods, whetstones, and the new rolling knife sharpener, an innovative manual sharpener that will do wonders for your cutlery. Make sure there's never a dull moment in your kitchen. Check out the entire product line and order today at WorkSharpTools.com. That's WorkSharpTools.com.
We've been telling you about Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Southeast Alaska for a while now. They're truly Alaska's best lodge. Wildlife is abundant, from bears and deer to eagles and whales, and let's not forget the reason you're here, the fishing. Halibut, salmon, lingcod, rockfish, true cod, and more. It's all waiting for you in abundance at Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Book your trip today at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com for Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we've got Josh Warren on the line. He's with WorkSharp, and as you know, they make fantastic knife and tool sharpeners, both electric and manual knife and tool sharpeners. And they've got something brand new out. Josh, welcome to the show.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
So, the Ken Onion Edition Elite Knife and Tool Sharpener Mark II has just hit the shelves. And before we talk about this, I kind of want to talk about the evolution of your electric knife sharpeners. And it all starts off with the original knife and tool sharpener that's, about a dozen years old now?
Yeah, it's got to be close, maybe a little more.
Well, why don't we start off with that as the base and tell our listeners about that very, very popular original knife and tool sharpener that retailed for less than $90.
Yeah, the original knife and tool sharpener is it's a power tool, uses an abrasive belt that runs in a triangle shape, and then mounted on there next to the belt is an angle guide. So it's a slot that you rest your knife in with the blade in contact with that abrasive belt, and the face of the knife or the face of the blade resting against an angle guide to give you control, and then you power on and draw the knife through to sharpen one side, and the same thing on the other side. There's another angle guide, so you can sharpen both sides of the knife back to a very factory level of sharpness. We use the same set of abrasives that are used in a lot of factories. They're specifically designed for cutting metal, being cool, and lasting a long time.
Very, very popular item that really launched WorkSharp, I think, into a whole different field than it had ever been before. And then you had the Ken Onion Edition knife and tool sharpener. Now, who is Ken Onion for our listeners who don't know?
Yeah, if you have some time, WorkSharp put out it's about a 20-minute video on YouTube recently, kind of going back and discovering who Ken is. And a little bit about this sharpener, but not really. We just focused on the person of Ken. And Ken he's a knife maker. In the industry, we call him a legendary knife maker because he's one of the guys who started with a hobby or a passion of just liking knives, like many of us do. And he turned that into something that was really incredible, a very successful livelihood for him with several patents to his name and some very innovative designs. If you're familiar with pocket knives that use a little flipper tab And when you flip that flipper tab, there's a spring that kicks open the rest of the knife.
Right.
That was Ken Onion's first foray into the market, that speed-safe technology. You see it on a lot of Kershaw knives. Anyway, that was his big break in the beginning, but since then he's had a lot of innovative designs from, just the blade shapes and how knives work to the locking mechanisms of folding knives or different materials that are used to really take performance to another level.
So that original knife and tool sharpener eventually evolves into the Ken Onion Edition knife and tool sharpener, retails for just under $200. Let's talk about the differences between the two.
Yeah, so when Ken saw what we were doing, he liked it, but he thought, I think there's another level here. And so a partnership was born. And what the Ken Onion version allows for is more choices for the user. So that means instead of just 2 angles to choose from, you can select any angle between 15 and 30 degrees in half-degree increments. This is for the guys who really like nerding out on how their knives are sharpened and maintained. There's different power settings, so all the way from a very low speed, fully adjustable, up through a high speed for just touching up a knife, or if you're using it for more of a tool sharpening application, like sharpening an axe or a lawnmower blade, you would use a high speed for fast material removal. It also uses wider belts and offers a wider belt assortment. So again, more customization as far as how many belts do you want to use, what level of edge refinement are you looking for, or do you just want to get sharp and get back to work?
And the evolution continues. I almost feel like we're in one of those Walt Disney things where you go through the dinosaurs and then the mammals and then the humans. Now we're on to the Ken Onion Edition Elite Knife and Tool Sharpener Mark II, brand new. And this is, again, a whole nother level of knife and tool sharpening, isn't it?
Well, first, one thing I love about WorkSharp is we, as one of the people on the team there, but we do a really good job of listening to our customers. And so this is something that customers have asked for. This is something that we've collected feedback on. And, it's, in some ways, it's our own creation of what we think that the solution is. But really, this is born from the customers that we have telling us what they want. So the Elite uses a more open type of sharpening system. It uses the same power base, the same motor that the Ken Onion version uses. But then there's an attachment that bolts on. Actually, there's no tools. It just locks into place. And it runs an even larger belt, and it's mostly exposed. It uses 4 different pulleys, but it's not a square shape. There's a section on those pulleys that is adjustable, that is set at a specific angle, or you can adjust that angle. And then the user brings the knife to the belt and puts the edge in contact with the belt at that selected spot. So, for example, I could set the angle to 20 degrees for a standard kitchen knife or even a finer pocket knife. And then my job as the user would be to hold my knife parallel to the table and drag it across that knife. It is kind of similar to how you would sharpen on a stone, holding the knife more of a horizontal position and then bringing it in contact with a stone, except for now the stone is holding the angle instead of the knife, and the stone is moving. So you don't have to move the knife back and forth to create that friction and remove the material.
One thing, I'm looking at the pictures of this here, and you said that the attachment basically bolts into the corded handheld knife and tool sharpener. Do they separate so you can use the corded knife and tool sharpener by itself, or is it just a one piece?
Yeah, they separate. So it comes with both the attachments. I really like that triangle attachment for using it as a handheld sharpener when I'm looking to sharpen axes or mower blades. And it's a pretty easy, quick disconnect. It's basically a keyed position there, and slide it on and twist, and it stays in place, and then the reverse to get it off. Really simple.
All right. Well, it's definitely the ultimate when it comes to sharpening everything from hunting knives and pocket knives and kitchen knives to axes and tools and lawnmower blades and even scissors too. The Ken Onion Edition Elite Knife and Tool Sharpener Mark II. It's available now. Retails for $299.95, free shipping, and the website to go to worksharptools.com. That's worksharptools.com. Is this also in some of the big box stores too, or is it just online right now?
Yeah, you'll find it in some big box stores. The Bass Pro and Cabela's have it in some of their top stores, as well as places like Scheels or Sportsman's Warehouse.
All right. Again, look for the Ken Onion Edition Elite Knife and Tool Sharpener Mark II. Brand new. The ultimate in knife and tool sharpening. And if you can't find it at one of those stores that Josh just mentioned, just go to worksharptools.com and buy one today. Josh, thanks so much for breaking down the evolution of WorkSharp knife and tool sharpeners for us on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks, John. Hope you guys all learned something.
This is the Rolling Knife Sharpener by WorkSharp. Designed to make sharpening fast, easy, and work every time. Snap to your angle, select your abrasive, and make sharp happen. Sharpen your kitchen knives, large and small, Japanese knives, and even pocket knives. The magnetic angle base secures a wide range of knives at 4 set angles. 3 premium abrasives deliver fast sharpening and exceptional results. The tri-axle drive system allows you to follow the curve of your longest blade. And the soft touch grip ensures comfort and safety during the entire sharpening process. Add confidence to your cuts. Make sharp happen.
In today's news, I'm cooking a brisket. Let's go to Jill at my house to see how it's going.
This is your house and you brought me and the crew to check on your brisket?
That's correct, Jill. How's it looking?
This is a Camp Chef Woodwind Wi-Fi. You know you can check your cook right from your phone, right?
I didn't know that was an option, Jill. Well, never mind. But before you leave, can you feed the dog?
What? No.
When we get back, why is my check engine light on? The answer may shock me.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse. Boater safety, boater collisions, boater accidents, boater fatalities. How are we doing? Are we getting better or are we getting worse when it comes to this? Well, one person who knows is Todd Sensenbrenner. He is the BoatUS Foundation Director of Boating Safety. Ted, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So I understand that the U.S. Coast Guard just released their 2023 recreational boating statistics. Is it good news or bad news when it comes to fatalities and overall incidents when it comes to boating safety?
Well, we do have a bit of good news. We are on a bit of a downward trend, and we have been trending this way for many years. We had a spike in 2020. That was over COVID, if your listeners recall. People went out and bought boats without really knowing a whole lot about them. So we saw an uptick in 2020, but 2023, the last year we have for our statistics as gathered by the Coast Guard, is showing a downward trend in accidents and fatalities. So I'd say that's pretty good news.
I would agree. But looking at the numbers, there was an 11.3% decrease, 636 fatalities in 2022, 564 in 2023. But that's still not great. But I guess it is better than when the Safe Boating Act was first passed in 1971. What was the death rate then?
Well, we look at the numbers based on hundreds of thousands of boaters. So way back then, we were looking at about 20 deaths per 100,000 registered boaters. And when we look at that trend over the years, the latest stats show that that has been reduced to 4.9, so about 5 deaths per 100,000 registered recreational boaters.
That's great, but just like in traffic safety, where they want target zero, they don't want any deaths, we want the same thing when it comes to boating, too. Now, traffic collisions, alcohol is often a factor. Is that a big factor when it comes to boater deaths, too?
Yeah, unfortunately, alcohol is the number one contributing factor to fatal boating accidents. There's no way around it. The messaging has been out there for years that to have a great day and a safe day on the water, you should leave the alcohol at home, or at least have the captain and the skipper, the operator of the boat, be alcohol-free. But We just see it as part of the culture, it seems, and that's a disappointing statistic for us to see that alcohol still leads the factors for contributing toward fatal accidents.
Well, I do like the idea of a designated driver when it comes to being the boat operator. I think that's very smart. Another factor, 75% of deaths attributed to drowning. And is this right? 87% of the people that drowned were not wearing life jackets?
Yeah, that's another unfortunate statistic. It's a statistic that we think could really change the numbers if people would just wear their life jacket. Yes, so the majority of people that go overboard and die are not wearing a life jacket. And there are so many life jackets on the market today that are way more comfortable than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. Personally, I wear an inflatable life jacket. I actually have two inflatable life jackets. One is the kind that goes over your shoulders that we call the suspender style inflatable life jacket. I also have a belt pack. It kind of looks like a fanny pack, but I wear that around my waist, especially when I'm fishing, because it provides me with all sorts of movement, and I can move my hips and waist and net fish and cast, and I don't even know I'm wearing it.
No, and you're right about the inflatable life jackets. They are really handy. I wear one myself when I'm fishing on my bass boat, and it's not even a bother. I forget to even take it off half the time when I'm fishing because it's just not cumbersome or bothersome at all. Let's talk about some of the primary contributing factors when it comes to accidents.
Sure. So this has also been a trend, and it seems like it's the same few things year after year, and I'll go over those briefly. Operator inattention seems to top the list and has topped the list for the last couple of years for a contributing factor to an accident. That means what you think it means, just not paying attention. Operator inattention can lead to a collision or collision with another object, another boat, or even a grounding. Along with that, number two is having an improper lookout. As boaters, we're required to have a proper lookout aboard the boat, whether that's you or someone else that you designate, so that the two of you, or give everyone a job on the boat. Everyone, let me know what's going on in front of me or who's coming up behind. Those are kinds of inputs that I like when I'm out boating. Inexperience, that's the third one that keeps coming up in the statistics. Boaters that haven't had a boating safety course or haven't had a lot of time on the water, they're not able to make those quick decisions like the rest of us, and operator inexperience is a third leading contributing factor to boating accidents and fatalities. Excessive speed is number 4. So that's a pretty simple thing to control. If you're going faster than you can handle or the boat can handle or faster or farther than you can see, that's time to slow it down a bit, especially when you've got reduced visibility, such as dawn, dusk, or nighttime. And the fifth one, this always seems to surprise us, but machinery failure, and that's a Coast Guard category. If something goes wrong on the boat, such as throttle, shifting, steering, something breaks and gets out of control, that can lead to an accident too.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Let's talk a little bit about boater safety. I live in Washington State, and if you're going to operate any sort of boat that's got any sort of outboard motor on it, you have to go through a boater safety course. And it's an online course, and I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical at first, but I actually thought it was a really good course by the time I was done, and it definitely helped me. I've been in boats for years, but I definitely learned quite a bit from this. And I understand that the BoatUS Foundation actually has some free online training, don't they?
Sure. So at our website at BoatUS.org, we offer a free online boating safety course that meets your state's requirements. For the state of Washington, and the state of Washington also has reciprocity with Oregon as well, a neighboring state. But you can go online. It's a do-it-your-own pace kind of course. You can come and go as you wish. You just save your progress. There's knowledge reviews at the end of each chapter, which are quizzes, and a comprehensive final exam that you must pass before you get your boating safety card. And in the state of Washington, when you're done, you pack all that up, you send that information to the Washington Marine Board, and you'll get a laminated card.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not just good in Washington, Oregon. It's actually good in 36 different states. So go to the BoatUS Foundation website. What is it, BoatUS.org?
That's correct. You're correct. And we meet the requirements, the education requirements for 36 states in our nation. And nearly every state today has some form of required boater education.
And I understand that you also offer some on-the-water training as well.
Yes, this has been a very exciting project for us at BoatUS. In fact, there's an organization called Ahoy Rentals in Seattle that's offering on-water training that we helped author. They're using a National Safe Boating Council curriculum that is very comprehensive, broken down in modules from intro to boating to docking to open water and open water training. And we feel that there's really no substitute for getting behind the wheel with a licensed captain to show you the ins and outs of boat operation techniques, maneuvers, and as I mentioned before, docking, which seems to be a very popular course. Even the experienced boaters come to us and say, I'd just like to be a little bit better, do a little bit better when it comes to docking.
Is it being offered anywhere else besides Seattle?
That's the only course that I have on our list. We're growing that program. We'd very much like to see if we could come up with more partners so we can offer more locations. So if anyone is looking to start up a business and is already a boat captain and would like to offer that knowledge, get trained in the Safe Boating Council's curriculum, we'd like to hear from you.
All right, well, just contact Ted Sensenbrenner through the website BoatUS.org. That is the site where you can find information about the BoatUS Foundation and some of these online and on-the-water trainings that are being offered. The website again, BoatUS.org for the BoatUS Foundation. Ted, thanks for what you do, and thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
We've been telling you about Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Southeast Alaska for a while now, and there's a reason. They are the only Alaska lodge we talk about in this show. It's because they're truly Alaska's best lodge. The adventure starts with a float plane ride from Ketchikan, after which you'll get the chance to experience some of the best hospitality, food, and wonderful people you'll ever meet. Wildlife is abundant, from bears and deer to eagles and whales, and let's not forget the reason you're here, the fishing. Halibut, salmon, lingcod, rockfish, true cod, and more. It's all waiting for you in abundance at Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Book your trip today at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com for Sportsman's Cove Lodge.
For over 20 years, the Hunt of a Lifetime Foundation has been providing all expense-paid hunting expeditions to youth suffering from life-threatening illnesses or disabilities all over North America. We've taken hundreds of kids for some epic adventures, but we need your help to pay for the expenses for these trips. You can help by donating to our nonprofit organization. Just go to huntofalifetime.org and click on the donation tab. Any donations help. The website again, huntofalifetime.org. Donate today.
I'm Anthony Imperato, president of Henry Repeating Arms. Patriotic Americans are looking to protect and provide for their families now more than ever. Henry has over 200 rifles and shotguns to choose from. Made in America or not made at all. And backed by a lifetime guarantee. Order a free catalog, decals, and a list of Henry dealers in your area. Go to henryusa.com or call 1-800-958-4993. Thank you and God bless America.
Come explore the Dalles in Oregon for outdoors fun. Hike amongst the wildflowers, bike our riverfront trail, or visit the Gorge Discovery Center where you can enjoy a live raptor display, or even check out our National Neon Sign Museum. But don't forget the fishing. We've got salmon, steelhead, bass, walleye, and monster-sized sturgeon waiting just for you. When the day is done, tell those tall tales at one of our wineries, breweries, or restaurants and plan your next adventure. Find out more at explorethedalles.com.
You know, you see a huge group of people and maybe they're in line to do something and they seem happy about it. You have to wonder, okay, what am I missing? What's going on here? What are these people excited about? Well, in this case, it's thousands of people and they're joining MediShare. Why? Well, MediShare is a much more affordable alternative to health insurance. It's reliable, too. It's a well-run community of Christians. They've been sharing each other's medical expenses for more than 30 years. And if you switch, you'll likely save hundreds of dollars a month. Most members wind up paying about half what they used to. And you know what? They find they like it better. MediShare's member satisfaction rate is 98%. That's way better than health insurance, as you might imagine. You don't have to pay for things you don't believe in. You get telehealth 24/7, huge freedom in choosing your doctors. At least check into it. This may be one of those things where you're like, why didn't I do this a long time ago? Why not start saving now? Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse. Now, if you're like me, you probably need some practice before you hit the sporting clays course, or whether you're going trap shooting or skeet shooting or going hunting. And how do you do that? Well, one way to do it at home is with the Ultimate Practice Shooting System. It's brought to you by the Robert Lewis Company, and with us here to tell you more about it is Bob Foege. Bob, welcome to the show.
Well, it's good to be here.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Ultimate Practice Shooting System, something you can set up in your shop or your garage or even your rec room in your house?
Well, yeah, the Ultimate Practice Shooting System was basically designed for people who want to continue practicing, let's say, after, they have a lesson. Now, let me give an example of that. When I was a kid, I took piano lessons, so every Saturday I'd go and I'd see the teacher and I'd learn something new, and then during the week I would practice it, and then next Saturday when I went to see the teacher, I was incrementally better. Now, the problem with most people is, on Sundays or Saturdays they go take a shooting lesson, then they put their gun away, and then they go next Saturday and take another lesson, and they're not really giving themselves the opportunity to practice what they just learned, and by the time the next weekend comes, they have to start from scratch again. So that's one example. You set this thing up very, very easily. It takes about a minute to set up the projector, which we call the Laser Pro, and you can set that to duplicate virtually any target, sporting clays target, a crossing ski target from the high house or low house, or virtually any trap target, especially the hard lefts and the hard rights, which are the targets that people have the hardest time with. So we duplicate that, and then in your own gun, we insert in the muzzle a device called the laser shooter. And the laser shooter has a wire that comes down with a finger ring, and when you touch which fits on your finger, your shooting finger, and when you touch your trigger, it fires the laser. So now you've got a moving target that you set up in the direction and the speed of your choice, and you have your own gun, and, it projects these moving targets in continuum. In other words, it's like a circle that keeps going around and around, and you can practice these targets, the same target again and again, or you can, continue to change targets as you will. Now, the laser projector also has a moving target device. The laser projector also has a microphone embedded in it. And the microphone, what you can do is you can actually say pull. So, you've got this laser projector, say, sitting on a table in your rec room, and you can say pull, and it'll release the target instantly. So,
wow.
For people that are practicing their mount procedures, or for guys that are shooting, really fast targets, and, what they want to do is practice their swing and mount, this device is just fabulous for that.
So it actually comes, the projector comes with the laser accessories, and it comes with a banner. It's 9 foot by 54 inch banner. And I see on the website, it looks like there's two houses on opposite sides of the banner. Is that just a set picture that's on the banner, or does the banner change depending on what scenario you're shooting?
Well, the banner is an option. And it's very popular, say, with clubs and with, especially with these high school groups. It's terrific for taking kids who have never shot before, for new shooters, and, you project a moving target over, a skeet field coming out of the high house or the low house. Or, we have in the center of that banner, we have a trap house. You can set it up. That target comes directly out of the trap house. So that is, an optional feature. We sell a ton of those to clubs and also to individual shooters. However, it is not that important to have the banner. In other words, if you've got, say, a rec room, and let's say you've got, a 15-foot wall or so, 20-foot wall, on one side, and on this wall there's pictures and maybe a fireplace. It's got all kinds of stuff on it. And I'm asked all the time, well, how can I shoot with all that, information on the wall? And I say, well, it doesn't really matter, because the red bead that crosses across that is two-dimensional. So the eye really doesn't see it crossing over pictures and a brick fireplace and God knows what. It just, that bead is crossing over there at the speed and direction you want, and you just shoot at it. So that is, a very effective way to be able to practice. Let me say this, is nothing takes the place of practice and repetitions. In terms of practicing any athletic endeavor, it's constant practice and it's constant repetitions that get you to where you want to be. And this system gives you the opportunity to really put this practice and repetitions to work. And, on our website, we have a section called testimonials, and we really don't ask people to do this, but people will write into us and say, hey, I just want to tell you that this thing has really improved my shooting. So,
well, folks, there you go. It is the ultimate practice shooting system. It retails. You'd think it would retail for thousands of dollars, but the basic system's just $498. How much is the Skeet banner, Bob?
The banner is $370, and we also have a device called a wobbler, which is $189, which we built specifically to the game shooter and the sporting clay shooter. So actually what we can do with that is we mount the laser projector on the wobbler. The wobbler is plugged into a wall plug, regular 115-volt electricity. And it oscillates back and forth, and it actually gives you curved targets. It'll give you targets that you will typically see in sporting clays. And it's just absolutely wonderful practice for the guy who really wants to become a better shot.
Well, there you go, folks. Just spend 15 minutes a day with your ultimate practice shooting system. Typically fire your gun 200 times. You're going to build up that muscle memory that you need to be successful, whether you're shooting trap, shooting skeet, or shooting in the field, going after quail or pheasant or chucker or ducks or geese. Again, it's the ultimate practice shooting system. It's available at robertlewisco.com. That's robertlewisco.com. Check it out. Get your system today for about $1,000 and become a better shooter. Bob, thanks for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks for the call. Have a good day.
If you find yourself in Worcester County, Maryland, and you're a Saturday listener, well, I hope you have your fishing pole, because the Pounding on the Pocomoke is taking place in Worcester County near Snow Hill today. You can fish anywhere and anyhow you want to on the Pocomoke River. You are targeting snakehead fish and blue catfish. The reason? They are killing and displacing native species in the Pocomoke River. The event is also serving to educate the public about these invasive species, and attendees have a chance of winning up to $500. This is a one-day tournament. The entry fee is only $25 per angler, and it starts at 7 a.m. And the weigh-in ends at 4 p.m. in Bird Park in Snow Hill. So get on out there, do something for conservation, have some fun. In other news, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation's World Elk Calling Championship has come to a close at Big Sky Resort in Big Sky, Montana. And the winner is Tony Gilbertson. He beat 10-time champion Corey Jacobson and 2-time defending winner Bo Brooks to claim his first professional division title at the event presented by our friends at Sportsman's Warehouse. Gilbertson, a RMEF life member from Veronia, Oregon, said, "I'm in shock when I think about the caliber of the competitors that I had to go up against. I honestly can't believe I won." Other winners include Patrick Luttrell from Colorado in the men's general division, Marissa Pagano-Noteboom from Anaconda, Montana for the women's division, Sam Walcott from Rexburg, Idaho for the voice division, Sam Jacobson, I'm guessing he's related to Corey, for the youth division, he's from Idaho, and the winner of the Pee Wee division, Hunter Luttrell from Colorado. The contestants were competing for more than $45,000 in cash, hunting gear, and other prizes. And yes, they will do it again next year, and man, oh man, I would love to go hunting with any of these winners. Next on America Outdoors Radio, let's talk a little bit about boat ramp etiquette. I don't know about you, but there's been plenty of times where I've watched people really take a lot of time to get their boat launched or retrieved at the local boat ramp, and it impacts your day in terms of your ability to get out there to go fishing, or when the day's done, to get off the water and go home. That's why the North Dakota Game and Fish Department has got a few tips for you. When it comes to launching, don't pull onto the ramp until your boat is ready to launch, and you can prepare for launching in the parking area, not on the boat ramp itself. In the parking area, that's where you remove covers, load equipment, remove tie downs, attach lines, and be sure to put in that drain plug before backing onto the ramp and into the water. Once you've done all these things, pull in line to launch and wait your turn and be courteous. As for getting off the water, don't block the loading area with your boat until your tow vehicle is ready to load. Wait until you are clear of the launch area to unload gear. Don't do it on the ramp. And when your trailer is in the water, load and secure your boat to the trailer. Remove the boat and trailer from the water as quickly as possible. Get clear of the ramp, pull into the parking area, and that's where you finish securing your boat. Unload your gear, drain all water, and inspect for and remove any vegetation. Remember, clean, drain, and dry. Remember to leave plugs out when transporting your boat. Our thanks, again, to the North Dakota Game and Fish Department for these helpful and simple tips on boating etiquette at the boat ramps. Until next week, here's hoping you're blessed and that you're healthy and that you get out there to get on the water or in the field or in the woods or in the mountains. It is officially summer and it is your outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it.